Welcome back to Go Get That Rose, your Bachelor recapping week 2 of Matt's season of The Bachelor, season 25. I'm your host, Sarah. With me, as always, is my co-host, J Wade.
Queen Bee.
Queen Bee. And no, we ain't talking about Beyonce.
Nope. No. All right. Hey, guys, I'm happy to be here. It was crazy last night. I'll get it more into this later, but I kind of feel, I don't know. I really do. I have yet another issue with production of Go Get That, or not Go Get That Rose, rather. A production here is awesome of Bachelor.
I was like,
just some really crappy things. I think that how they treat people and stuff like that. And yeah.
Okay. I'm excited to get into it. Let's just dive right in. We're going to cover the one-on-one dates first, because the most of the drama of this episode was our Queen Bee, Victoria. So we're going to cover all the one-on-ones and then just cover everything that has to do with her, which is going to be most of the episode, let's be honest. So let's just jump in. First one-on-one date we have was Bree, who I really liked. I think she's going far. I'm just going to predict it. I think she's...
Real quick, was Bree the hot tub girl?
Well, there were 2 hot tubs, but yes, this one's Bree.
Okay. We're still in the beginning stages, and which for me is I don't care enough to try to remember their names. So I just remember things about them. His stash hole and things like that. Just smoky.
Yeah, and I don't think she has anything yet that is like easy to give her a nickname. She's just super sweet. And they were the ones that they did the ATVs. Is that what it's called? They were on the
yes.
And then they flipped.
And they rolled it. Yeah.
I was like, okay. And then
it off. That's good.
Yeah. The whole time he was freaking out, like, oh, your mom's gonna be upset, or her mom's gonna be upset, which I thought was kind of cute. But I was like, oh, okay. It's really interesting seeing him on these dates and not using like normal lingo or stuff like that. Like, it's really refreshing. Like, I really like it that he just seems, I feel like he can be himself more than other bachelors because he doesn't really automatically fit into the mold. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's not using all the same terms.
I mean, he, regardless of what his background is here as far as his work and stuff like that, he's successful. Which obviously, based on his intro, he worked hard to gain that success, but he doesn't come off as snooty. He
really doesn't.
He seems really down to earth.
He really does, and I was kind of surprised. I thought he was going to be a little bit more conceited. It's not the right word, but kind of conceited. Yeah. So
I don't doubt that at all. Kaylin says that looked fake as far as the 4-wheeler. They were laying way too far away.
You think they rolled?
I don't know, but it's production, man. It wouldn't surprise me.
Do you think they did it on purpose? Do you think they did something to make it flip?
To be honest, either yes, or if they did not, then that part with them rolling around afterward was after medics rushed in, because I would imagine the real way it went down if they rolled was as soon as it stopped rolling and they were laying on the ground, medics and people rushed in just to check them to make sure they're okay. But according to what we saw, they rolled it and then they rolled on the ground together, laughing and giggling as if nothing had happened.
No, I'm sure
that's not how it went down, if it went down at all.
That they rushed and they were like, are you guys okay? Whatever. And they're like, okay, we're going to pick up the shot. And it wasn't where the ATV was or whatever. Then they go in the hot tub, which we showed the picture of. The wood, he had to cut the wood in the hot tub, which apparently they, in Bachelorette for JoJo season, they actually stayed at this hotel or resort or chateau, whatever it is, and they used the same exact hot tub, literally kind of had the same exact date, which I didn't even realize it. So I was like, oh, that's funny. They're in the hot.
When you said cut the wood, the first thing that popped in my head was cutting the cheese, and I almost tried to make a joke like, at least he didn't cut the cheese while he's in the hot
Well,
tub.
I'm glad he didn't go dirty. Like I just went
Well,
dirty.
yeah, but you wouldn't have noticed anyway with the bubbles and everything from the jets. So
you're right.
It wouldn't, you know.
Anyway,
I'm old, guys. You young folks, I'm old, dude. So I'm not a dad, but I've got dad joke style mentality.
Dad jokes for days. Yeah. Nighttime portion they had in that. It was just a really, like, frankly, boring date. The real drama was just cutting back to Victoria in the middle of it.
Right.
But I mean, Bree just talked about what they talked about before. They both were raised by their moms, really strong relationship with their moms. It was nice. It was sweet. He seems really into her, and I think she'll go far.
Oh, wait, is Bree the pickup truck girl?
No, that was Kayla, I believe.
Okay. See, yeah, like I said, we're far too early in this for me.
Yeah, Bree was the one. She got out. She was the first one out of the limo, and she was just the one that was like, "Hi, my name's Bree. What's your name?" Like, just real chill. Okay, cool. She talked about how you kind of no, you don't remember.
No, I mean, as far as that approach, because we talked before, like that's how. If I'm a bachelor, that's how I would want the girls to come at me, not with all this stupid production crap and these stupid jokes and stuff. Just hello.
No, I want all the jokes.
How are you? But
I want everyone to be dressed up in a costume. I want like masquerade. Like they all have to wear like a mask, and then I have to figure it out on You know what? That's a good idea.
And we never pitched our idea about the two best friends, the male and female friends.
Oh, we'll save.
We'll
save that. We have an idea, Bachelor.
Yes, we do.
ABC, call us. Anything else about Bree and her date?
No, like you said, it was boring. I mean, which doesn't mean it was bad. It gives potential for the future because there was nothing bad. There was nothing dramatic. It went well. And so,
I really like her.
To stick around for a while longer.
I think so. I think she's really sweet, just a really sweet person. And I like her a lot. Let's talk about the other one-on-one. So this episode, they had 2 one-on-one dates and 1 big group date. Normally this early in the season, it's the other way around, 1 one-on-one, 2 group dates. But Chris Harrison said since there's so many women that they wanted to help, and Matt's never done this, I wanted to help him like get to know the women faster, which I was like, okay, that's fine. We'll talk about the group date. But the last one-on-one date was for Sara, my namesake. And they went up in an airplane, which I think I talked about last week. That would be a dream. She looked terrified. The whole time. Like, they did not look like they were like snuggling and like not. I would have been like looking out the whole time. Like,
oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know what they're thinking. They've got Mother Nature down there. The fall colors were amazing. Mm-hmm. It's Pennsylvania, correct? It's Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful. I've been camping down in the hills and whatnot in Pennsylvania. It's awesome.
Pennsylvania is beautiful.
Yes, it is.
So especially around fall.
Plus, you're in a plane, and you're in a plane where you don't have the enclosure.
Yeah, you're just out.
You can feel the wind. You can smell it. Everything. You can hear everything. How could you not soak that in? I mean, yes, it's awesome sitting on your lap and you're super hot, but I'm gonna pay attention to this shit because this is once in a lifetime. If I end up with you, I'll be looking
like
at my life.
Stop trying to cuddle with me. I want to look at the leaves.
Yeah. Stop! You're ruining my date.
And the whole time it keeps cutting back to her being like, I don't open up to people, whatever. And we know that she, as the audience, know that she is the caregiver for her dad, but Matt doesn't know this yet. And she opens up on the nighttime portion, which I thought was really sweet and really touching. And she starts talking about how she moved home to be a caregiver for her dad who has ALS. I think that's what it is, the Lou Gehrig's
disease, yeah.
Yeah, disease, which she said was the one that Stephen Hawkins had. And when she started to describe like how hard it is to watch someone like lose their speech and lose their mobility and like all this stuff, I'm getting teared up right now. Like, I cannot imagine. Like, I am super close to my dad. Like, I could not imagine, or anyone, but I couldn't imagine being in her shoes and watching like my father go through that. Like it was heartbreaking. And I'm Matt at one point said, like, I can't understand like why she's here. Like that really means so much to me that like she's taking time away from her dad, who's like really sick. Like she even said like he surpassed all the doctor's expectations. He's lived longer than 5 years. Like I don't know. It was just it was crazy, and it was nice to kind of hear a different kind of story, kind of like The Bachelorette, where we're getting different open up stories that we don't usually see. I really like her a lot. And my favorite part was when Matt said, "So what can I do? What can I show you? Like, what can I do to be the type of person that you would want in a partner," or something like that. I was like, okay, Matt, like that's impressive. Like, it's more than just like you guys are here to date me. Like, what do you want in your partnership? Like having those real conversations.
Yeah, which we talked about before. There's a huge, I mean, whether or not they have those conversations, we don't know about it, because if they do, they edit them out. But that's what I think are the interesting things. If you're supposed to try to be figuring out who you want to be with and who you want to marry and whatnot, those are the things that are more interesting to talk about, as opposed to so-and-so's picking on me and shit like that. It's just, I want the real stuff. And as far as real, that's what I mean. The things that matter, the intimate, the small details. Do you want children? Religious things, because those things matter these days, sadly. Just because you have to connect on a lot more and higher levels than just, we're both on this show and we both would like to find love. That is nowhere at all to start a relationship on any level, let alone one that ends in potential marriage.
Yeah, especially if Matt does end up with her, like he's going to be her partner. Like he's going to have to walk alongside her, go through that and be a part of that family. You know what I mean? So like that is very important as well for him to know. Like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I don't know. I didn't want that to sound bad. Like I just think that's important stuff that like he's going to have to like be there and understand like, oh, she has a lot now that I'm going to have to also be her partner. And but yeah, it's like we're saying, like all those important conversations that you need to have before you get married.
Yeah, and I've said this too, also, that for me, like if I were there, the conversations they would see me having is like, do you like Star Wars? What are your favorite kinds of movies? Who's your favorite bands? What concerts have you seen live? Think like interests in life that bring you happiness or move you in some sort of emotional way. Those are the things that I find interesting. Those are the things that you would see if I were on that show. Which brings me to hashtag J Wade for Bachelor, because fat guys deserve love too. They talk about being all inclusive and whatnot. And that's great that we've got our first Black Bachelor now, which, although it should have been Ivan, but hopefully next time around we will get him.
Mike, but...
Yeah. But yeah, guys, we need to get real people on there. We need to get real, average, everyday slobs on there like me. Let's be honest. So hashtag J Wade for Bachelor, because fat guys deserve.
You're right.
And you're right. We do need some sort of patriotic music going on in the background.
We really do. Maybe put like an eagle like behind you, like the screen on the screen.
Like an eagle. Oh wait, that's not this show.
Anything about Sara? Anything else about Sara? She got the rose. I didn't share. Here's this picture. I didn't share. Oh, it's blurry.
I don't know. She's fine. Like I said, these people. This show is kind of like basketball for me. It only matters at the end of the game. Like the last 5 minutes is the only part that matters. The rest of it just does not matter. And even the last 5 minutes of a basketball game doesn't matter unless it's a close game. So I don't care. Ask me how I feel about Sara in 3 weeks if she's still around.
Yeah, we'll see. We did see at the end of the episode that Sara passed out, almost fainted.
Yeah.
I don't really know what was going on. And that's how it ended. Spoiler alert, that's how the episode ended, with Sara on the ground saying she's gonna pass out.
Yeah.
So, but there's a lot more to get to. Before we get to the rest of it, I gotta check my notes. Before we get to the rest of it, guys, there's a show coming out on Disney Plus that we're not a part of called WandaVision, but we are a part of the WandaVision recap show here on Merc with the Movie Blog. You can find it live. It's called Oh What a Marvel, and we're starting this Friday at 6:30 p.m. EST, Eastern Standard Time. And it's me and Jay and some of our other friends, Sean and Dean, and we're going to be recapping the episodes every week until that's the end of it. So you'll get 2 times a week seeing me and Jay talking about stuff. So
yeah, and wait till you meet Sean, and then you throw Dean in there, and who knows what the hell's going to happen.
Yeah,
this is going to be
it's going to be fun. We're going to be talking about romance on this show and romance possibly on WandaVision. So it's called Oh What a Marvel. Make sure you see us here on this channel. It's super easy. Okay, let's get into the drama.
yes.
Oh lordy.
Queen Bee.
Okay, we're just going to start back at the beginning.
Now I feel I forgot all about the Beyonce Queen Bee thing. And now that you threw that in there, now I feel the need to put it in a disclaimer, like like
not Beyonce,
Queen Bee, dude, not Beyonce.
We're not trashing Beyonce. Do not come for us for trashing Beyonce.
Yes, Jay-Z, I got nothing against you or your lady, man.
We love Beyonce.
I didn't say that. I just said I ain't got nothing against them.
Let's talk about Victoria.
Yes.
As we know, last week I was like, I love her. She's hilarious. She's so funny. I quickly flipped as soon as she opened her mouth. Literally, okay, I just want to set a little behind the scenes. They filmed the first night late into the night, and that's why, like, it's early morning when they get done. That's why the sun is usually up. Like, they film all night long. So that day, they go back to the rooms or hotels that they were quarantining in, whatever, pack up their stuff. Normally, they'll move into the mansion. Not the case. But then they have that day as a rest day, moving in. So it doesn't start, like, the next day. Like, they have a day or two in between for them to, like, move in and get their roommates and stuff like that. So Victoria's really just been with these girls for, like, a day or two. So they go into the chateau, whatever, and I don't remember how many girls were left. We started with 32. I think there's like 26 or 7, maybe. I don't really know. Math. So they're all sitting there in this gorgeous hotel in this big room. We find out they have roommates. I'm guessing all of them are paired up.
No sense whatsoever. I mean, other than the drama, which it definitely provided drama.
Yeah, I think that's really what it was. I think it's for the drama because, I mean, so already, like, they're just sitting on the couch or whatever, and already Victoria is like, they find out Brie gets a date, whatever. She literally says, like, I'm tired of you girls already, and it's only the first day. And I was like, oh no, she's one of, like, this is not an act. Like, she's one of these girls. Like, she told them that she's tired of all of them. That they're all just, like, fake and rude, and they're like, well, we're jealous, and she's like, I'm not jealous, I just want to be on the date. And people are like, that's what jealousy is, like, you are jealous. She's just not a nice girl.
Kaylin says, I hope Victoria steps on a Lego. Wonder how many of the other girls in there have had that thought already.
I thought, like, oh, it was I thought she was gonna be kind of like Corinne, which I said last week. Like, Corinne says these, like, crazy things, and Victoria is trying to say, like, crazy catchphrases. So I think she's trying to take a book and like Demi just says random stuff. But the thing with them is, like, Demi was nice to the other girls loved her, she made friends. Corinne, a lot of the girls, like, she was nice and had friends. I don't think Victoria is friends with any of the girls in the house. Like, it doesn't seem like any of them like her. Like, she just seems like, and I hate the thing, like, they all will say, like, this isn't a sorority, we're not here to make friends. That sounds just like, we're not here to make friends. And it's like, well, you kind of have to make friends. Like that's
You don't have to. I mean, you're
you
not there to
have
make
to.
friends, but you can still be respectful and civil. And I mean, dude, here I'll even say this: you cannot make friends with someone and still even enjoy their company. It is possible to enjoy company with someone that you have no interest with being friends with.
Yes.
It's a matter of how you think about it and how you approach it. You know.
Yes.
Um,
But I feel
so
like in this bubble, it's different
right.
because if girls
Right.
that aren't, because this has happened in past seasons, where there are girls that are just not making friends. They're not being like right out rude, but they're not being friends with the other girls in the house. Those girls will go back to Matt or the lead or whatever and turn it around and be like, well, that girl's weird. Victoria's there's something weird about Victoria because like we've tried to be nice to her, we've tried to talk to her, and she's just rude. And then that ends up biting them in the ass, everyone in the ass later. But you know what I mean? Like it does pay to be friendly and be nice and make friends with the other contestants so they don't like sell you over as quick as they can. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a red flag that a girl cannot say anything nice about another or any person. Can't say anything else nice about anyone else. Like the whole everything she says is just like the even later on when they were all like, "Oh, I wish I was on the date with the fireworks," and she's like, "See, you all were mean to me earlier." And they're like, no one was mean to you. And then she's just like, you guys are crazy. Like, that's her first. She's
Right.
always like defending herself. So you said in our message, like, she's really insecure, which
Yeah.
I think she has body image issues, which that's a huge accusation to throw out. But I think
Well,
she
she
does.
said things that have made me think that. It's not
Yes.
I've not it's not like, we're sitting here like just making assumptions or judges or based on judgments or anything.
Yeah.
I'm saying this because she has said things
She
um
said
to
to
allude to that.
Matt what she was insecure, like when she like opened up to Matt, she was like, I have these insecurities, like am I gonna look fat in this dress,
Right.
or like that was her thing she opened up about, which kind of led me to be like, oh, she has image issues, like she is. And the whole time, like, I mean, I play with my hair too a lot, but I feel like girls that like when they're really talking, they're like really conscious of how they look, like that the whole time she's talking to Matt, she's like, yeah, like you could tell she's fixing her dress, like she's fixing her hair. Like you can
Yeah.
tell like she just really wants to look perfect and look a certain way. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to look nice, but like I think it comes from a sense of insecurity. And especially since like her whole thing with Marilyn. So Marilyn was the girl that was her roommate. We have pictures of them. Let's just bring it up. Oh goodness.
And her dress is so horrendous.
Oh, we'll talk about it.
The, uh,
But even like the whole issue with Marilyn at the end of the episode was like she started freaking out because Marilyn came back with a flower from Matt, and that's when Victoria spiraled. And then she was going around to everyone being like, Marilyn is so mean to me, Marilyn is so rude. And all the other girls are like, I haven't seen that. Like,
right,
and
right.
even just watching Marilyn, like, she does not seem like that type of person. She just seems kind of sweet and naive, and you know what I mean? Like, it's a mess.
She's just and all right, Victoria Queen Bee. She is a very very disgustingly ugly person, and her looks have zero to do with that. It's her
attitude.
It's
yeah,
what's
her personality.
inside. But that's why at the same time, I mean, I don't feel like a whole ton of sympathy for her, but I understand, and to a degree I can relate, that the reason she's acting out the way she is and she is so ugly on the inside is because she's so hurt on the inside.
Yeah.
And
she's
that's
so
the only
insecure.
way she can make herself feel any kind of better is by putting others down. But then again, even while she's doing that, and that's understandable, we also need to remember, unless she's completely insane, when she goes to bed at night and replays all of these things that she does and says, she deep down, she knows that that's what she's doing, and that's why she's doing it, and that hurts her even more. And it's a vicious cycle. If what I said is true, I feel sympathy for her to a degree, and I can relate. But The only other option is she is just a flat out bitch,
She
which
just
is
doesn't
very,
realize it.
very possible.
I think I felt that way, like, oh, she's just super insecure, and that's really where it's coming from, is a place of her, until the end argument with her and Marilyn, where I was like, no, she's just a bitch. Like, she might have that, but she's just rude. Like, everything she says to the girls, like, Demi said some mean stuff, Corinne said some mean stuff, but a lot of it was like just joking and took the wrong way. Like, her stuff is just rude. Like, just, she's like tearing down these girls, like, she keeps calling Marilyn like a psycho and crazy and all this stuff, which they were roommates, and then she left because she was like, she's crazy, she's a psycho, she's bullying me, which is like, she's not bullying you. And then she ends up sleeping on the couch, which is hilarious. I wonder if they ever give her a room. Probably not. I don't think they would give her.
I hope from time to time throughout this season, at night
we
when
just
it's
keep seeing her on
her making her bed on the couch the entire season.
She's like, can you guys be quiet? I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah, but I also want to hear her ask production for a room, and them deny her, and her continuing.
I mean, we see her talk to a producer. And
yeah, I thought about that too. I was like, man, is that shady?
Don't see.
Like, how shady? Because I mean, that was she under the impression that because she was talking to a producer that was all like off the record? Because she was saying some hard shit about them girls and calling them bitches and stuff, and I was like,
she's like, they're all idiots.
yeah. I'm like, okay, so like, how does that work? Like, and I assume that they're telling producers, go talk to them, see if you can get them to say some stuff, but the person that they're talking to is probably standing there like, oh, this right now is not a part of the show because everybody else is over there and I'm over here by myself with the producer, but I don't know.
Kaylin said, I feel sorry for the producers who have to deal with her. So, like, I know for The Bachelor, like, I think there's a couple different producers and they each get like a group of girls and they're the ones that they go and confide in and like get them to ask them the questions and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I have to imagine she knew that like this was going to be recorded. Maybe she didn't think they would air it because like they don't really ever air stuff like this from the producers. They did a lot with Claire. They showed a lot of Claire talking to producers, but yeah, she was saying like the one part I remember was she was like complaining about it, and she said, yeah, and the girls said, it's just day one. And she was like, yeah, I know it's just day one. And they're like, don't you think this is going to be your downfall? And she said, she goes, do you guys not know me? And that's where I'm like, this girl's drama. This is my kingdom and Matt is my king. Yeah, so let's talk about the group date. We had 18 girls on this group date. That's the biggest group date I think they've ever had. That's
when they did that, when they kept reading the names off, I knew it was like another dodgeball type situation where they would split them in half, have some sort of competition, and half of them leave. I knew it right away.
So they started out with a wedding photo shoot. We have Franco back, who shot the photos with Zach and Tasha, who
he could have his own show, dude.
So a couple years ago on Nick Viall season, they did almost the same exact date with Franco, where they first group date, they assigned them like different brides that they were. Like one was like a shotgun wedding bride, one was an 80s bride. And then some of them were bridesmaids. That was a huge date too. And he shot them. And the villain, Corinne, of that one, she was in the pool with Nick and she took off her bikini top and had him like grab her boobs and like all this stuff in front of all the girls. Yeah, it's one of my favorite dates. But that was like fun. I mean, she was drunk.
Did he actually grab her boobs?
Yeah, she was like Janet Jackson.
No. If any of those other ladies had any class whatsoever, one, they wouldn't be ladies, and two, they would have left right there.
They
would have left right there on the spot.
Well, so Nick kind of had a reputation I would love to do like a history recap of Nick Viall, one of my favorite bachelors. But he had a reputation of being like the bad boy that likes sex. And that's a whole other story. But he was really trying to turn that around and for his season. And he's talked about it now. Like, he did not like that she did that. And she was very sexual the whole time on the season. And he often talked about how he just did not like how sexual she was because he was trying to get rid of that like reputation that he had. But anyway, so that's what it kind of, I was like, it kind of reminded me of like, oh, maybe Victoria will do something trying to be fun or whatever. But no. So I'm going to backtrack what you were talking about earlier about being inclusive of all shapes and body sizes and stuff like that. I saw a TikTok earlier with this girl saying that what really struck her was the fact that all 18 of these women could find dresses that fit them on one rack. Like, there's only like one size for all of these girls. Like, that's all that they needed. And she was like that, like the average size of an average woman, I think she said was like 18 dress size. And these girls are like 2s and 4s and 6s, which there's nothing wrong with that. But like, yeah, I guess that's kind of a problem that 18 girls can all find the same dress. That just
right.
fits them perfectly. Like, there wasn't going to be that worry of some girl being like, this isn't going to fit me. Which is an issue. Let's get realer women looking on the show. But yeah.
Also, I had mentioned earlier that I really do have an issue with production and stuff as far as like their actual treatment of people and their feelings and emotions and stuff. And yeah, the whole hashtag J Wade for Bachelor thing, like, I make a lot of fun out of that. But I mean, if you strip away the fun part of it, I am being serious. Like, it does irk me that there are no real average everyday people on that show. But all that stuff aside, Matt's new to this. He's never been on Bachelor before or any of the shows. This process is very new for him, and like, whether or not it's a game show and all that stuff, no matter how this is approached or by who, the fact is that people really do get emotionally invested. I talk a lot of smack about it. I would never fall in love with someone after 30 days on this kind of thing, but I can very well see me becoming emotionally attached to maybe more than one person. I understand that can happen. And with him, this being his first go round, I mean, I was sitting there wondering how he must have felt as the season progressed. And like, it's like literally they threw him in the deep end of the pool and he don't know how to swim, and then they let sharks in the pool. I mean, I can't imagine how emotionally hurtful and painful some of this stuff must have been for him, having to deal with all this drama and the she said stuff. And like, I just feel bad for the guy, man. He's never been in this kind of situation before. And
yeah, but he signed up for it. Like,
yeah, but I mean, it's still.
He signed up to be on The Bachelorette, and then he agreed to be the Bachelor after having probably Tyler tell him about it and Hannah. And he could have gone back and watched the shows.
Do they have to make it worse, though? Is my thing.
I don't think this is worse than anything I've ever seen, though.
But to me, I mean, throughout the show, I pick up things that I'm like, that to me, I think looks like production steered it in that direction. And that's what I mean.
As
like,
far
it's
as conversations,
but I don't know. I just think these people. I just think that I don't want to say these people, but the behavior that I see from these people, to me, I find a lot of it disgusting, and I just don't like it, man. A lot of it. Like, on a personal level, the way it makes me feel, I just don't like it.
You mean the behavior that you see from the contestants?
They signed up for it, so.
Is that what you mean? Like how girls? You mean like how the girls like interact with each other, or like their behaviors? Is that what you don't like? Or is
all of that and the way this show is just like, it's hypocritical, it's sexist, it's sexualized beyond max. It's just there. And you grew up the same as I did, like in a Christian household, going to church and whatnot. It just, and not to say that my morals are any better than anyone else's, but for me, to my moral structure, a lot of it is too much. I'm very liberal with my morals, and as far as what people do for themselves, I don't care. But when I see things, it still makes me think. I still have opinions on them. You know what I mean? And my opinion on a lot of these things is just gross. Like a lot of the behavior and the especially the fantasy suite, sleeping with multiple people over. It's gross to me. I'm so, like, I don't think those people are bad people or anything. Dude, get your rocks off. I don't care. But I still think it's gross. It's just, that's me. It's disgusting behavior in my opinion, but that the reason, I don't know,
that's
man.
The show.
I'm trying not to be rude. It just,
I'm like, I don't know what to say. Like, okay.
These are not the kind of people I would be interested in dating. I'm not into showing up to meet a guy for the first time half naked wearing your bra and panties. I'm not interested in chicks that run around calling everybody else bitches and starting shit. I don't.
But that's the show.
I know, but
I know that's not what you would want.
Is it a reality show like they say it is, or is it a scripted show? It's a little bit of both, which makes it even worse.
Scripted reality TV. Like it's anyway, a guilty pleasure show. Anyway, we'll argue about the morals of this show another time. Yeah, I think when you first, not saying it's your first time watching it, but I think like the more you watch it, the more you just kind of get into the routine of like it's literally everything is scripted. You know what I mean? Script is not the right word.
Season of shows I've seen, so I mean I'm still very fresh.
But like every season has its beats to a T. Like first couple episodes, this like people have fainted before. You know what I mean? Like everything that happens isn't new. Like nothing's new. There are produced into situations to get reactions out. What they say isn't scripted, but it is like produced to be a certain way. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be a villain. There's always going to be the one that's set up to be the perfect wife. There's always going to be a curveball. Like, you know what I mean? Like that's just how the show is, and they just put people in there.
No wonder no one has ever really stayed married from this show. What, two couples have stayed married? So whatever.
Well, we can deep dive into the that'd be interesting to talk more just about the franchise as a whole instead of like per episode.
I'm totally down.
But let's get back to the episode. So only like half of them actually get pictures with Matt. They all have to find a dress whenever take pictures with Matt. Kaylin said something earlier, which I want to talk about. We were talking about the cocktail party with Victoria and the dress that she was wearing and her bra strap was
oh my gosh. Gosh.
Kaylin says and her effing bra was always showing even in the wedding dress. So wait. So I first realized it in the wedding dress where I was like, girl, you were the only one that like her boobies were popping out, which I mean, she knew what she had, so she was trying to use that to her advantage. But like you could see her little black just enough, and I was like, okay, like maybe no one tried to like fix it or whatever. Then when it happened again at the cocktail party with her whole bra, I was like, oh no. People were going hard on her. Like people were seriously like going rude. Go ahead. Booby.
I feel really stupid, Sarah.
Why?
Because I talked about this for a very long time, and I forgot. So
You forgot about what?
Back to the vagina tail parties. Woohoo!
No.
Baby. As soon as you said cocktail party, I was like, wait a minute. It's
I
all
thought you
late.
were. I thought
It's
you
the
were
vagina tail
upset
party now.
about the bra, but he's upset about vagina tail.
Yes. Sorry, that was a good point, Kaylin. I'm sorry, but I mean, dude, the vagina tail party's back. I'm all about it. That's awesome. All right, cool. Sorry, go ahead.
Moving on.
I can't believe I forgot about that. I railed on it for months.
So Caitlin said, I think she was trying to be Carrie Bradshaw, but she failed. I know that's a Sex in the City reference. I don't know what that means, but yeah, I'm sure she did fail. Yeah, so her bra just kept showing the whole night, which I was like, okay, which I've never seen before on any reality. so I don't know.
What were they dressed up for?
For when they were dressed up for the date, I'm not saying it. When they were dressed up for the date and the wedding dresses.
No, like the group, when all the people are together and they're having drinks and stuff.
At the party, before the rose ceremony party.
At the what?
Say cocktail
it.
Party.
What? Come on, say it. What?
The cocktail party.
Oh,
I'm not saying it. Okay, let's finish talking about this group date. Goodness, we're all over the place.
That's me. Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm in a mood. I'm kind of.
No, it's okay. I got my wine. Anyway, so we had goodness. So they're taking the pictures. Victoria, of course, interrupts, and it was super awkward and so uncomfortable. Yeah. And she was like, "The royal wedding is here," and Franco's like, "What?" He is not picking up on it, which was hilarious. Yeah. She like full on makes out with him, and it was so uncomfortable. And she was like, "That was the best passionate make out," and I was like, "Girl, it looked terrible." Also, I don't like kissing shots. Like, I don't want to see people making out. Right. It makes me super uncomfortable. It's so stop, please. Then Chris Harrison pops out and is like, "Just kidding. This is not the day." And Matt and Franco are both kind of like, "What?" I think Franco was like, "Why am I here if I'm not here to shoot these wedding pictures?" Like, it was really weird.
I think it was because they needed a reason to get them into wedding dresses.
Yeah, that was dumb. Like, they should have let them all.
I can imagine the pitch meeting. Like, somebody just like, and they're in California, so weed's legal there. So they're just sitting in the office, like, or Zoom meeting. Hey, what if we have them all in wedding dresses and they like getting in a mud fight or paintball or something, like they get messy and dirty in the dresses?
I liked the date.
That's how that came about.
They played Capture the Heart. And then they needed
to figure out a reason to get them into the dresses. In comes the photographer.
They could have just gotten them in wedding dresses. Like, they didn't need the photographer. Like, maybe they no. I don't know. It doesn't make sense. They play Capture the Heart, split into two teams. They're like, there's no rules. It makes absolutely no sense. They're splattering paint. They're throwing cake. They're hitting each other with purses. It was nuts. Yeah. And of course, it's your classic, like, we need to get the group down from 18 and split it in half. So the losing team goes home, the winning team stays. And then out of nowhere, they have like the most vulnerable play, the MVP, which I was like, this wasn't introduced to us, that this was an option. So Mari gets that. Yeah. And then they have the night cocktail party. The only really interesting stuff was, them in all their dresses with the paint. It was a kind of a mess date. Like, there was just too many concepts thrown out. Franco at one point gets up and starts taking pictures, which I thought was hilarious. Like, he's just out there. Like,
when are they gonna do this equality thing and have
them play strip dodgeball?
The ladies have to strip if they lose. And I'm not talking undies. I mean,
moving on,
like the men had to do.
No, yeah,
that's another problem, and that's not a pervy thing. I'm just saying, like, why are we have these freaking?
Because it's the Bachelor, Jay, and yeah, they had a referee who just sat in the chair the whole time. We love. Yeah. Okay. So Victoria opens up at night, I guess, about being insecure, kind of. She's like, I'm not always so positive or so secure or confident. I was like, oh, then we had Janessa. That's not her name. I don't know what the girl's name is, but she's talking about how there's always infidelity in her relationships, and then her and Matt make out. Honestly, the only drama on that nighttime group date, like, there really wasn't that much. It was just kind of Victoria at the end, because a girl named Lauren, who I have no idea who she was talking about her faith, which, see, I know, I'm sorry, I got distracted. I know the name, I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Janessa?
Jacinia.
Oh, it's Jacinia. Yeah, I keep saying Janessa for some. I don't know why. Jacinia. Got it. Thank you.
New Jersey. Oh.
Wow, that's rude. Yeah. So Lauren.
What is it? What is it? Milk.
So
what do you use at night?
So Lauren is talking about faith and how that's important for her, and Matt said that he's never really led in a relationship, letting like the other person know that like faith was really important to him. I think it's cool that we're having these kind of conversations, and she gets the group date rose, and Victoria is pissed, and she's like, did you know you were gonna get it? The thing I did like about that, though, is that he, I guess, not knowing how the group dates work, he took Lauren into the other room and then gave her the rose, kind of like what he did with the first impression. Instead of doing it normally, they'll do it in front of everyone, but he like took her aside, and I thought that was really sweet. I really like that. Good for you, Matt, changing up the yeah. Okay, and then we'll just finish up with the vagina tail party. Oh, that felt wrong. That felt so dirty.
Yes, she said it, guys. Yeah. Woo! That's awesome.
Kaylin said, in regards to talking about religion, she said, I'm glad that we're talking about this now and not after the boom boom. Cough, cough, Ivan, cough, cough. Yeah, I feel like Matt led with his faith and being religious and a Christian right off the bat, like when he started to pray. So I think that's why these conversations are coming up sooner than maybe with Tayshia. Not a knock on Tayshia, I'm just saying. I think that's why. And I think a lot of these girls they casted probably are really religious. I think we said that last week. And so I think that's probably why they already knew that about Matt, and that's why they're open to talk about this kind of stuff so quickly. So the real drama, we kind of already talked about it, was Marilyn didn't get a date at all, which she kind of rubbed me the wrong way when she was talking to Matt, and she sounded super desperate, and she was like, do you not like me anymore? I was like, oh, girl, calm down.
I just met you.
She was like, I'm not on a date, do you not like me? And he was like, actually, I remember that your favorite flower is an orchid, which I was like, that is so produced. Like, I'm sure the producer came up and was like, hey, her favorite flower is an orchid. And he's like, got it.
And then the producer's like, and here's some orchids to get to it.
To start the drama, because as soon as she sets that down, as soon as she puts the flower out, Victoria loses it, and she starts going like, she's so toxic. I'm just gonna try and talk like Victoria all the time. She is so toxic. And is literally going up to every other girl just saying like, she's so toxic. She's like, I wasn't gonna bring this up to Matt, but she's just so toxic. Which I'm like, what did she do? Like, what did she do to you? So she starts talking to Matt. And of course Matt is just like, well, Victoria has always been open and honest with me, so why would she be lying? And it's like, she's lying, which is entertaining to watch because we know as the viewer that she is lying, and but Matt does not
see her personality sucks. I don't understand.
Because when they're making, like, he does not seem like he likes her. Like, he doesn't seem enamored by her. Like, he seems like he's just like, girl, you're just here because the producers want you here. Like,
right.
So that's why I don't understand why he is really like, I have to get to the bottom of this. And then when Marilyn's like, that's not true, I don't know what she, like, looking at Marilyn, Kaylin said Marilyn seems very insecure, and she seems like a mope. You're saying that about Marilyn? Seems like... I feel this. I'm on the same page. Like, I feel like if you look at Marilyn, you'd be like, this type of girl wouldn't start confrontation. Like,
right.
this girl would not be toxic. Like, unless maybe she really is, and we don't know. She could be a completely different person. We don't know. Yeah. And then the weirdest, this is the moment where I was like, no, Victoria's just a bitch, because Marilyn comes out to her and it was like, Matt told me that you said negative things about me and I want to talk to you about this. Can we just go outside away from everyone? And she was like, no, you can sit right there because it's cold and I'm not going outside. And I was like, oh my God, there was no compromise. And the whole time she's like, can I sit? Like, Marilyn was super nice. I'm like, can I sit here? Like, asking her, I would have just sat down. I wouldn't have cared.
Right.
And she's like, can I sit? And she's like, no, I don't want to sit next to you. And I'm like, why? like, and it's so funny because the whole time in the interviews, Victoria's like, I'm gonna keep talking like her. She's like, she's just so fake, and I'm an empath, and it just all her energy is so toxic.
I challenge you to talk that way for one entire day to your husband.
Honestly,
the entire day.
So when this is a tangent, but when I was into acting and stuff like that, those type of girls were my favorite characters to play because they're just so much fun. And that's why it blows my mind that this is not a character. Like, that's how she is in real life. And that is very scary. Also, the fact that she called herself an empath, I'm like, girl, I am an empath. Like, you are not an empath. Like, you can't use that as an excuse. Like, wild. Yeah, so she basically interrupts Marilyn and was like, thank you for apologizing, but we're on 2 different pages. I don't think I can talk like that every episode, just saying. Yeah. She's like, we're on 2 different pages. And then she goes, I'm tired of this conversation. It's stressing me out or something. I don't know. And she just leaves. And I'm like, girl, you're not helping your case. Like, that's what the thing is. Like, I just don't. She's just very rude to her. And it's just like,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what else to say. I think that's it. I'm exhausted. I was literally exhausted after watching this episode and watching her. And I'm like, she is probably like the worst person I've ever seen. Like,
she's absolutely terrible.
Because it doesn't come from a place of like, I think she's trying to be like, I'm entertaining, like, I'm going to be the villain and people are going to love me and I'm going to be funny like Corinne, but she's just rude and says really mean things. And she's just always just like, I'm so great and she's so manipulative and toxic. Meanwhile, she's going around to every single girl being like, did you hear what Marilyn did to me? And it's like, what do you? And all the girls are like, no, she didn't do that. She didn't do anything to you.
I'm not a fan of Queen Bees. Not at all.
I would like to say she'll be gone sooner than later, but I think they'll keep her around like 2 more episodes, and they'll kick her off once they start getting rid of people. And I don't know who the new villain will be. I have a few. We'll see. My brain's shutting down as we talk because I'm just so over Victoria. So, J Wade, until next week and until this Friday when we recap WandaVision, where can the people gonna get that tattooed? Where can the people follow you?
Y'all can follow me on the Twitter if you would like at JWade1134. That's the letter J, WADE 1134. While you're over there, also please follow at the JCast Network. I do a show over there just started called Speaking of Schmodown. For those of you who may be familiar with the movie trivia Schmodown, check that out. And and like Sarah said, we'll see you Friday. For the WandaVision recap show. Looking forward to that very much. So,
I just want to say, I miss it. Kaylin said, "I love your tat, Sarah. Thank you." So okay, I'm gonna do my plugs, but I'm gonna try and do it as Victoria. Ready? Oh my gosh! All right. You guys can follow me on Twitter at SSEABOCK, and you can follow this show at Go Get That Rose. I forgot what it was called. At Go Get That Rose, the same Twitter handle. And you can also follow this show on Merc with a Movie Blog feed at Movie Blog Merc. And you can see me on the I can't look at you on Oh What a Marvel this Friday on the Merc with the Movie Blog feed right here. That's the end of our show. We'll see you next week recapping episode 3. Bye.